Welcome to Beat Diabetes. I'm Dennis Pollock, and I want to start today by asking you, where are you metabolically right now? I mean, even as you watch this video, where do you stand in terms of the two great evils that can destroy your health? What are they, you ask? They are high glucose and high insulin. If you've got high glucose and high insulin, and if you're a type 2 diabetic, or you're leaning that direction, or you're maybe 3 years away from being a type 2 diabetic, if you've got high glucose, you're going to have high insulin as well. Type 1s, that's a different critter, but we're talking about type 2s here. So where are you in terms of your glucose and your insulin? Well, let me just give you a little illustration here. And I will make the point that where you are depends on how you've been eating generally and how you ate at your last meal. So let's just say you start out here and you ate a meal here and it raised your blood sugar quite a bit. And this is where you are right here. Let's say this marks where you are, and let's just call that 175. Well, that's unacceptable. That's the danger zone. Anytime you're getting over about 140 milligrams per deciliter, you are harming yourself, especially if you get over that level and stay over there very long. Now let's talk about a healthy person, someone who's metabolically fit and everything's humming along just as it should. Their pancreas works well. They don't have any insulin resistance. What will happen with them is they'll have a meal, they'll go up a little bit, but they'll be back down quickly, and boom, they're at baseline within an hour's time. So an hour, or right before they ate, they were maybe at 88 or 92. They eat a meal, they jump up to 128, 130. Within an hour, they're back down to 88 or 92. And they stay that way. So they've got a whole different situation. But for the diabetic and the pre-diabetic and people who have a tendency toward diabetes, they're going along, they eat a meal, they go up too high, they stay up too long. So if you're right here and you're at 175, you're in trouble. And all this time you've been at 175 or somewhere close to that, you are harming your body. Now, if you just did this for one day, it would be no big deal. But when you do it day after day and year after year, it becomes a huge deal. And it may take 20 years, but after a while, it's going to harm you and you're going to start having diabetic complications, and you're finally going to have that talk with your doctor who tells you with a serious, grave face, I'm sorry to say this, but you're diabetic. So that's what we want to avoid. Now I want to talk about the dinner meal. The dinner meal is hugely important. And why is that? Because you typically will have 3 main meals a day. You'll go up, you'll come down, you go up, you'll come down, you go up, you'll come down. That is if you're eating very many carbs. The problem with the dinner meal for the diabetic and the pre-diabetic is you're going to stay up a long time. And once you go to bed, you're hardly moving. You're not active. You know, a lot of people say, well, I go for a walk and that helps bring my glucose down. Yeah, but when you go to bed, that does the exact opposite. So if you eat late and your glucose is high, it may take hours and hours and hours for that glucose level to come down and the insulin level to come down, because it's going to stay right up there trying to fight the glucose and bring it down. So you could end up spending half the night or maybe even almost all of the night with your body struggling to get hold of your high glucose. And of course, that means you've got high insulin. You are in the danger zone all night long. Ergo, love using that word, ergo. Ergo, when it comes to dinner, let's say this is lunch. When it comes to dinner, what if you just don't eat many carbs and your glucose hardly goes anywhere, and therefore you don't have much insulin issues, because if there's not much glucose going up, there's not much insulin going up to follow it. So you're going to be lower glucose, lower insulin. So if you had your dinner meal, let's say at 7 p.m., and you normally would eat something or take some bulletproof coffee or whatever around the next morning, that means you've got 12 good hours of rest, metabolic rest. Your body's not struggling to get hold of your glucose. You're not dealing with a lot of insulin. You just got a nice, easy rest of it, and you're in the safe zone. Danger zone, safe zone. So where do you want to be? The answer is safe zone. Now, the good thing is if you follow my program, which is even for breakfast, you don't eat much of any carbs. So I eat bulletproof coffee. Well, I don't eat it. I drink it. But I mean, that's it for me. And since it just includes some cream and some butter and coffee, obviously, then my blood sugar doesn't rise, or very little. If there is a rise, it's not because of the coffee. It's because of the dawn phenomenon, which can make it float up a bit, but not bad, at least in my case. So, and the other thing I say is if you just can't stand the thought of not having a meal at all that you can literally chew, have a couple of boiled eggs and just leave that. Have a nice, simple, small breakfast with no carbs. Boiled eggs, cup of coffee, bam, you're done. That means that from the time you had your lunch, and once your body got hold of that glucose rise or spike, then you're going all throughout the evening, all throughout the night, all throughout the next morning with very little glucose to deal with and very little insulin spike as well. So you have bought yourself a huge block of time. I call these healing blocks for your body to heal and become more insulin sensitive and stop hurting yourself. So the dinner meal is huge. If you can just keep the dinner meal low in carbs, what I say is breakfast, either no carbs or very few carbs. Dinner meal, either no carbs or very few carbs. Whatever carbs you're going to eat, and it should still be low carb, but you might want to have a salad. You might want to have some soup. Two of our favorite lunches are a salad or Benedict's okra and spinach soup. So yeah, we do eat our vegetables, but they normally come at lunchtime. By dinner, I'm ready to do carnivore. By morning, I'm doing carnivore. So I basically got only one rise to deal with. But if I'm eating salad, my glucose meter tells me that's not bad for me. If I'm eating Benedict's okra and spinach soup with some chicken in it, my glucose meter once again says that's just fine. There's not even much rise there. But if there is going to be a rise, this needs to be your mentality. If there's going to be a rise in my blood sugar, let it be at noon, not at dinner. So, with that being said, let me give you one perfect dinner I have here. And I want you to notice how fast it is. If you know me at all and you watch many of my videos, you know I don't like things that take a lot of time. And this is simplicity itself. It takes almost no time. In fact, if you've got a watch, you can just time me as I put together a tuna salad sandwich. And so basically I have here Star-Kissed Chunk Light tuna. It's packed in water. I've poured out quite a bit of the water, so not too much water in here. And we'll just put this in here. I hope you're timing me. And then here we've got some mayonnaise. Now, I'll admit this is store-bought, which means they used probably seed oil in it, but there are some keto mayonnaise you can create yourself. In fact, I'm probably going to do that soon and show you an example of that are not made with the seed oils. So with the mayonnaise, you can just put in whatever you think is reasonable. Sometimes I overdo it. Sometimes I underdo it. Whoop. And then some pickle relish. Now, the mayonnaise has 0 carbs. The tuna has 0 carbs. The pickle relish, can you guess it? It has 0 carbs. So 0, 0, and 0. There is no glucose spiking, glucose raising properties in this conglomeration. So we're just going to put it together, and there we go. Now, I was raised with tuna salad sandwiches, but Mom would always buy the sweet pickle relish. give it a little sweetness. I don't use sugar anymore, but I found that one little packet, this is a stevia and erythritol combination packet, that's all it takes to make this tuna have a bit of a sweet taste. Now, amazingly, this is a nice little bowl. This will make me actually 2 tuna sandwiches, and yet there's no carbs at all. I mean, we're talking 0. Here we go with the other part of the meal, a chaffle, which is basically made from an egg and some shredded cheese. Again, almost no carbs. If you buy the shredded cheese in a packet, it's going to have a few, but not many. Or if you buy a block and just shred it yourself, you'll have less. So let's put this on here. And here we have a tuna salad sandwich. Yeah, I could have used a top chaffle because I have so few carbs, but I just don't normally do that. So the chaffle, what do I have besides that? I have a couple of cheese slices. Cheese is the new bread. Let me say it again. Cheese is the new bread. And this is the kind of cheese you want to get. Block cheese that has essentially no carbs. This has less than 1 gram of carbs per serving, per 1 ounce serving. So whenever you're up to less than 1 gram, you know you've got almost none. So here you go. Here's my meal for tonight. Benedict is waiting for me downstairs, but this is my meal for tonight. 2 slices of cheese and 1 chaffle plus tuna salad. Almost no carbs. Now let me say this. Some of you are looking at me with a frown. Don't you frown at me, but some of you are doing that. And you're saying, Dennis, that may work for you. I could never get filled up on something like this. Let me tell you a secret. When you're dealing with so few carbs, I mean almost no carbs to the chaffle, 0 carbs to the tuna salad, 0 carbs or less than 1 gram of carbs to the cheese slices. When you're dealing with that few carbs, you can double the amount or even triple and you'll still be in good shape. So if I was the kind of a guy that I weighed a lot and I had a big appetite and I just had to have more than this, double it, triple it. Now, you can't do that with everything. There are some things that I feel free to eat, like a handful of nuts, but if I eat too many of them, I'll have too many carbs and that won't be good. But when you're dealing with things this low in carbs, you can double it, maybe even triple it, and still have very little glucose rise. There's nothing magic about this meal. There's a lot of other meals you could do, but when you're dealing with low, super low carb meals, you can eat more of it. So, as I say, the perfect dinner, wanting my carbs very, very low in the evening, very, very low in the morning, and whatever carbs I'm going to get for the day, I'll have those at lunch. It works for me. I think it could work for you. In addition to Beat Diabetes, Benedict and I do have another YouTube channel and another type of ministry. I'm referring to our Bible teaching channel, which goes by my name, Dennis Pollock. While you can only see Benedict with me on Beat Diabetes occasionally, you can see us study the Bible together at our dining room table every Thursday. With all that we're doing, producing hundreds of videos and podcasts, sponsoring African missions, helping diabetics reverse their diabetes, giving food to African widows, and sponsoring free medical clinics in Nigeria and Kenya, we need your help. Please consider making regular contributions to Spirit of Grace Ministries.